Great. Good. So we are here. Hi, I'm Claudia Müller, and this is the first lunch with Claudia in coaching around the world that I'm doing. I'm launching this mini free workshop series. Today is the first time, so please let me know if something is not working or something. That would be great to have feedback, because the good thing is we can always get better at things, right? We have the chat here at the side. We can communicate there. And if you need something, just give me a sign, or just put your volume on so I can understand you. So this is the first time I'm doing it, and let's begin. Do you have any questions for now? No? Okay, good. First, I wanted to... Oh, wait, what happened? You're still seeing the other screen? Okay. Okay, so here it comes. My name is Claudia Müller, as I told you, and I am intercultural. And what do I expect of this workshop is to have fun. As we're not that many, we're only two, you can or put in the chat or just say it out loud. I want you to give me one word that describes you and another word of what are you expecting in this workshop. Thinking. Okay. I like to learn something new out of my comfort zone. Okay, really nice. And curious. Very good. Great, great to hear that. And let's see, those are the expectations you're having of this mini workshop. Let's see what we are going to talk about today. So what are we talking today is from cultural adaptation. Two questions. How you get to create your identity as an intercultural person. So this is something that I want to give a little bit of light today. And I can imagine many of you are already have begun to do a journey in another country, right? Or have been new in a new company with a new culture. So how many of you have begun in another country from scratch? Okay. Okay, so there are many that have done that. So, perhaps you already know how is the whole journey that you have to go through. But let's say it also, oh, you did it twice as well. Okay, so you must be an expert. Let's see, perhaps you have gone through a journey and now you can have like the understanding what happened to you in those moments. First, of course, why is this a really important topic? Because many times people don't come through the whole journey or break and have an earlier return to their countries, because it's not that easy. There are many factors that are involved here. So here I have a table of the main reasons that people say why they actually return from abroad in an early stage. Many times it's family-related issues, it's 33%. Cultural adjustments, difficulties, it's 40%. Out of these four reasons, main reasons is the biggest one. So it is also important to see that there is some work to do, and it's not that easy to navigate through it. There's also lack of preparation and support. That is also something, and job dissatisfaction or misfit. That is also something that has happened. Why you come back, because it's not something, the expectations were not met. So these are the main reasons, are the facts. But if we deep dive a little bit more, then if we have this perspective of cultural and psychological reasons, we can see that moving abroad, it's not only like the cultural shock that everybody talks about. It's a little bit more. It's more of adjusting to a lifestyle, perhaps adjusting as well to other values they're not used to, or you don't know if you even can align with those. And also in a lot of communication norms that they're not used to. Here in Germany, there are many that actually communication style is very direct and not that warm. And of course, this makes it more difficult. That makes it that it's not that easy to get to know other people, and brings you to be in isolation and loneliness. And of course, these language barriers, there's leading to social or professional exclusion. Why? Because you are not used to express yourself, even if you know the words, you have learned the language, to express yourself in your mother tongue. So that makes it difficult, and that isolates you. So, and there's also sometimes this reverse discriminations or local bias against expats. There are people that are already, because you're an expat, they already are assuming or expecting something of you that you don't know, and that frustrates you. There are the other family-related issues, right? When you come, perhaps you can adapt really well, but then you come with your wife or your man, and it's difficult. They can't actually they don't feel satisfied here, and they criticize it. And that's most of the times in the studies the reason why they go back, because your companion doesn't feel right in the other country. Or the challenging with children education. There is also the family is not integrating really well. You're going perhaps to your job, but perhaps your wife or your husband or your partner is not having this, and it's having difficulties to align and to adapt and to get integrated to it. So this is also some topic that makes it more difficult. Or the homesickness. You actually miss home, and that's normal, and it's okay, but it does make it more easier to navigate it. But and also perhaps your father or your mother are getting sick or something, and that makes it even harder, right? Those are the family traits. And now when we go to professional organizational reasons, of course, it's difficult to have a job, a new job. And if you are beginning a job in another country, for example, or a job in another company that has completely a different culture that you were used to, not an open one, like a more classical one, for example, then this preparation, this intercultural preparation, it's an issue. And this happens many times when you get hired in another country. the companies doesn't think about all the on-site support that you need, because everything is different for you. It's nothing, it's normal. It's not what you're used to. So this is, for example, now lack of support in administration, housing, psychological support. And of course, the normal conflicts that come with local staff or management, right? So these are things that actually are not helping you very well in your well-being in the new country. And it's getting frustrated, right? That is also the unclear roles and expectation in the new position. Perhaps in Colombia, where I'm from, a project manager had some expectations to be met, and in the other country or in other company, they are actually expecting other stuff that you're not used to, and that comes to conflict. And if it's not clear, you feel misunderstood, misleaded, not seen, not understood as well. So this is something that has to be cleared out to be able to adapt to a new company and in a new country. And this, of course, is also career frustration. Feeling professionally stuck or underutilized many times. You don't feel as your best when you go to the next country, because you think, okay, what is expected from me? There must be like this high expectations, or diplomas are what you need. And then you accept anything that perhaps you don't feel right with, and stay there because you don't feel confident you can do more, and then you feel underutilized, that it's something you can give more, not your whole potential is giving. And that, of course, gives some career frustrations. But in the beginning, it is like this. So there are a lot of reasons why this can happen. And of course, last but not least, economic and legal reasons. Yet we all know, we don't know exactly the costs or what you will need in the other country. So this also gives some stress. And everybody knows here in Germany how difficult bureaucracy and how stressful this can be. Like with visa or work permits, political instability or safety concerns, we all know how it can be different from 1 month to another. Let's check out the political outcome that is right now in the world, where from one president to another, it's completely different. So there's a lot of uncertainty that you don't know, and that can have some influence within your well-being. And of course, the crisis in the host country. We don't know where is coming to be a war. These are a lot of uncertainties going around the world. But so we know that adapting abroad, why is it important? Because culture makes or breaks an international move. So it makes it or it breaks it. So moving abroad is not just packing boxes and learning a language. It is a lot more. And it's a lot that is happening within you. You have to also be able to navigate these internal shifts that are happening to you when the norms around you are not longer met or not used anymore, doesn't match with your surroundings, the norms you were grown up with in your house. You understood how life works, and now it doesn't works in that way. So it's a lot of internal moves and shifts that you have to deal with. And these shifts, actually, they have a pattern, and they're always the same. So there are 4 stages of cultural adaptation that we are going to talk about today. So just knowing that you are in a process, and it's just a process. It's not stuck. So what is actually cultural adaptation? It's a human need of belonging. The goal of it, of cultural adaptation, is to arrive to belonging. And this is a human need, something that you actually need as a human. And there's the way to it It's the stages of the adaptation that you have to go through it, this process. And there's a relation importance of authenticity. So this is important to keep on the whole process. I will also talk a little bit about why it's so important and how to get it afterwards. But let's begin with a story. There's Camilla. She's a Colombian engineer moving to Germany. So when you arrive, it's a honeymoon phase. Man, you do pictures. The first month in Berlin for Camilla is amazing. Everything feels exciting. Public transport, everything is so clean. It's ordered. Christmas markets, you're open, and oh man, this new food it's great. Finally, you get to speak the German that you were learning and exploring the city. Berlin is an amazing city. And she shares pictures, full optimism. It's amazing, everything that she's looking, but she's only observing. So here, the traits are, you begin with curiosity, you wonder, openness. You just are open to anything. The next phase, well, cultural shock or frustration phase. This is when the beginning of this excitement of the honeymoon fades. Camilla feels isolated, so there is no small talk like in Colombia. It is hard to make friends. She doesn't understand the social norms, and she struggles with this bureaucracy, this German bureaucracy and communication styles that she doesn't understand because they're just different than in Colombia. So she actually misses this warmth and social life of Colombia. As you know, here in Germany, you don't go out with your colleagues of work normally in the weekend. It's not friends, they're colleagues. That is not like in Colombia. They have their own life and they see seeing colleagues sometimes as work. So I don't understand this. And Camilla begins to feel emotionally and culturally distant. So here comes the confusion. She's lonely and irritated, doesn't understand what is going on. She doesn't understand the world around her anymore. But after that comes the adjustment phase. Camilla begins and starts to do her rhythm. Camilla joins the language groups, dance classes, and builds community. So she understood what is important for her, tries to find this within the German culture and integrates it to herself. She actually learns to understand the German and even appreciate them, like punctuality and privacy. So it's not that they're distant, they actually like their privacy. And it is something that she actually appreciates. And she begins to blend both cultures. So she brings her warmth, but she also adapts to the structure. She sees what is good of the structure and takes what is good for her and adapts it to her. It is beginning to be part of her identity, step by step. So here, that is what you have also the normal learning curve. You adapt, you see where can find the values. Is it something, my boundaries, a no-go, or is something that I can actually adapt and bring in and rebalance these expectations? I begin to have different expectations from the others because I understand them, and even different expectations of myself. And if you come through it, the mastery phase, you are completely adapted. Camilla is now integrated and confident. Camilla can say she can identify herself. Her identity is bilingual. She is bicultural, and she's thriving professionally. She's even more that if we talk about Germans, a normal German, because she has something that makes like a bridge between the cultures. That is something that she's bringing to the country and to her company. She also feels a strong sense of belonging in both worlds. She actually could achieve this. And here, how you feel when you actually feel at home is it's your confidence, integration, and empathy for yourself and for the others. But please understand, cultural mastery doesn't mean becoming more like them, but building a flexible identity so that you have integrated things of both cultures. And that's you. And it's your real you. So I talked about cultural adaptation. That is to arrive to this belonging. This is a human need. So what is it? I love Brené Brown. It's one of my favorites. Emotions. Oh, something is happening here. This is emotions researcher. So she says, what is actually belonging? Belonging is we have to belong to ourselves as much as we need to belong to others. Any belonging that asks us to betray ourselves is not true belonging. Let's sit down with it. And there's another one that I love of her, that is because we can feel belonging only if we have the courage to share our most authentic selves with people. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. To be able to belong somewhere, you also have to be able to accept yourself. If you have any questions or something, just scream in or write in the chat. So we have now what is belonging. How to get there, the stages of adaptation. Here is the curve of it. You go to the honeymoon, then you have this cultural shock. Gradual adjustment and feeling at home. You see, the honeymoon is a little bit underneath and feeling at home. And this is resilience and growing, because it is you go down from the honeymoon, but get up, and not in the same level, to even go in a higher level. And that means you're growing because you're integrating and learning. Just a little reminder, what were these 4 phases, cultural adaptation phases with Camilla? So the honeymoon is full of euphoria, curiosity, excitement. Everything new feels fascinating, like the tourists. Open observation, getting in from the outside. Cultural shock is when you actually come to yourself again and see there are differences. There are differences. And that gives you a feeling of insecurity, like frustration. You try to do things, but you see it's not working, or you're actually overwhelmed. It's too much at the same time. And mainly if you go to another country, the daily life becomes more challenging and enthusiasm fades away. But it's only a phase. It's only a phase. For some people, it's more intense than for others. But you get your adjustment, and it's step by step. By building new routines, having your language partners, for example, this balance between adaptation, but being truthful to yourself. And this is gradual. This comes with self-awareness and self-reflection. So this confidence and comfort of comes over time. And the goal is to, at the end, feel at home. And that's the moment where you are actually settled, you're accepted, and you accept yourself as well. And you have created this balance between authenticity and adaptation. You feel at home in the new culture because it is now part of you. So these are the phases we go through. The belonging is the goal, how to get there, the adaptation phases. And I was talking about authenticity. Why is authenticity here so that important? We go to the phases. Why authenticity often, of course, always feels challenged when you come to a new environment because you don't know the new rules or the norms or what is happening. So in the honeymoon phase, we may act superficially because we stay outside of us, because we're just observing. But it is superficial because you're just observing, but we go with the flow, and real authenticity comes with time. So what happens with the authenticity in the cultural shock and adjustment? Of course, it is pressuring that you want to adapt to your surroundings, and you have the need of belonging. And you actually begin to fit in because you think that's the way that you are going to belong. But authenticity is being truthful to yourself, even in uncertain times. So, of course, this is challenging when you want to have this social acceptance, and so this must be a balance. You want to integrate the things and keep truthful to yourself, and that is how you redefine yourself in a new environment without losing your values. So here is the important thing, authenticity is you have to know your values. You have to understand who you are and what are your values, even if we shape it or redefine it in the new surroundings. So when we go authenticity and adjustment and belonging, so this is an inner conflict. Transition from cultural shock to adjustment means how big is the gap? Cultural shock is just telling you, okay, this is the way I have to go to A to B. This is resilience. So this is the gap. And if we avoid conflict, there will be conflict. If we avoid it, then it is a risk that we lose ourselves. This inauthentic behavior actually makes it cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is you do something, but you feel that it's not okay, no, that you don't feel like doing it. This is when your head and your heart and your emotions are not speaking one with each other. And this makes you go out and want to go away, break it, quit, whatever, because you don't feel belonging. You were just fitting in. And this is the beginning of being able to have perhaps a burnout. So be careful. You get burned if you just adapt. So you have to do, feeling at home is having to do this phases, flexible adaptation, right? Flexible adaptation and authenticity. So why is it authenticity? Why is it so difficult? Well, the cultural shock reveals how external differences that triggers internal stress and insecurity. And being stressed and insecure makes it even harder to connect to yourself or your own needs or your values. You don't have it present. So it makes you, with stress, it's difficult to connect with yourself. So it is important to be able to manage and navigate the stress with stress management. And adaptability, like a chameleon, you read the room, yeah, but if you only are in the outside, you get exhausted. You're only focusing on fitting in. So this is something really dangerous, something that you have to keep in mind when you adapt somewhere. So authenticity actually requires reading the room but without losing yourself. So I have a short exercise for you. You can write it down or write it in the chat if you want to share it. So what will you see, hear, and feel when you feel at home? So think about yourself and think, authentically self-defined as an intercultural person, how is it? How would you look like? How would it feel like? And when you have it, how would it make a difference in your life? Being authentically self-defined as an intercultural person in your ways. And what is so important about that? I will feel that I can be myself. Yeah. Because you live in both sides. Nice. Nice. Good. I will go on with the presentation. But, oh, yes, feel accepted, my different surroundings as myself. Very nice. Oh, yes, feel accepted by my different surroundings as myself. Exactly, because that is the most important thing of belonging. Very nice. So what's next? In which phase of the 4 phases of cultural adaptation are you seeing yourself right now? Honeymoon, cultural shock, adjustment phase, or feeling at home? And what can you do? Or I never really found myself in any of the phases. Okay, interesting. Good. Good. It's something that have to be seen. Interesting discussions could be coming out of it. Okay. The third one. Very good. So you're adjusting. You're in the adjusting phase. Okay. Good. Perhaps try to think about the resources or who can help you to go into the next phase, or what could be the first good step. And I just want to show you, of course, a little bit how coaching can help support the cultural adaptation. As you have seen this construct of the 4 phases, what coaching can help you with is to clarify the identity and values that you have, and mainly in times of change. And as well, coaching can help you with build emotional resilience when facing stress or self-doubt. So when you are in these difficult, stressful situations, how can you deal with it and have a healthy relationship with your emotions? In these phases, you also have to do a lot of decision making. but not only with the head, like really feeling that is, and we're in a conscious decision how to make these decisions. And of course, when you find yourself confronted with cultural differences, you don't know how to navigate it, perhaps, without losing yourself. How can you do it without, or not only fitting in? So coaching gives you a safe space for reflection, insights, and realignment. When you don't know where to go, realign with your values and how you can navigate it. And of course, coaching also sees this transforms challenges that we have into growth and empowerment. We see what is happening and how we can see that it's growing or empowering us. So this is me. I'm Claudia Miller. And my motto is real belonging instead of only fitting in. That is something that I preach and I love. And I'm really convinced about it. So I also think the most important thing is to live your values and strengthen your uniqueness. Because your uniqueness is the thing that makes you you and makes you valuable. I'm an identity expert. I'm systemic and emotions coach, and I'm the diploma psychologist. And how do I like to work with my coachees? To support people in finding clarity, emotional resilience, and personal growth. And this across cultures, systems, and life transitions. So I offer, of course, a safe space where you can, I would self-define yourself in an authentic way. And this can happen, of course, especially during change and intercultural shifts, that also can happen in professional or private personal transitions that you are facing. And it's mainly the point where identity, culture, background, and individual growth intersect. So where I accompany my clients mainly is when they have challenges, and mainly when you are feeling stress, you have difficult decisions to do, you're beginning to have self-doubt. This is where I come in. So a little bit recap of what we have seen. Did you have it in mind again? It's the top reasons for abroad early return, including the statistics, the Camilla's journey to Berlin, the 4 phases of cultural adaptation. So what is actually cultural adaptation and what is the goal of it? To have real belonging. Why authenticity is so important? And of course, how can coaching support your cultural adaptation? And who am I and what I do? So here I have some questions for you. Do you want to have the feeling of real belonging? Do you want to drive and have your potential in other cultures as well, in new environments? You want to define your identity authentically? You want to improve your emotional resilience? You want to develop yourself professionally and personally? You want to create your individual and authentic cultural adaptation strategies? Well, if that's something you're looking for, I have some parts that I can support you with. I have created a summer special program. So it's very compact. And since it's a group program, tried to minimize the cost of it. And it's called Authentic in All Worlds. It's coaching for intercultural self-discovery. This program consists of 3 group sessions and 3 individual coaching sessions, or one-to-ones. Starts in June 20, and it is 6 weeks long. So what we have here in the program, it's like having the ground for self-reflection, to do self-reflection, so activate your inner resources and empowerment, stress management tools, how to navigate through stressful moments and challenging time, and the integration and adaptation strategies. So I'm not seeing now here the presentation, but this is kind of mainly the foundation for the personal growth and emotional resilience and real integration. If it's booked until tomorrow midnight, and you have been here in the workshop, or somebody that you know and you have been here in the workshop, with the code of summer 2025, you can book a discovery call, and only having booked the discovery call before tomorrow midnight, then you can have a 20% offer. And this also is in regards of the other products that I have there, one-to-ones in the first session or so. You can go to my website. It is www.coaching-simweiler.de, or there's my email. And yeah, this is for the next Lunch with Claudia and Coaching Around the World. I want to talk there about self-acceptance and belonging. Will be on July 3rd. If you want to get to know the link for the next one, you found it was interesting, you're very welcome to do so. So to be able to have also all the information for it, you should subscribe to the newsletter. I also have put the link in the chat, right? So that you have always the information of what is coming up, like this free workshops, and also other stuff that is going around